good morning to everyone. So look, I suppose James, it's nice to see a good week after the conditions and stuff last week. It was very, coming out of a couple of very hard weeks on man and beast. And I suppose we'll just skip the figures for a minute, but I think it's nice from a rainfall point of view in particular areas of the west to only see, back to single digits in terms of mil of rain, and less than 15 mil of rain on the forecast for the next week across the country. But just briefly on the figures, the pasture-based figures for the week: an average farm cover in around 800. Cover per livestock unit of 238 and a growth of 34. And I was just looking at a couple of group reports there this morning. There's again a huge range, and it probably links into a couple of the key points we'll just discuss there in a minute. But there is variation there throughout the country, and probably throughout farms, depending on where they are in terms of grazing and if there's any first rotation paddocks left. Diet's probably working around maybe say 3 to 4 kilos a meal, and probably still a couple of kilo, 1.5 or 2 kilos of silage going in on some farms around the country. So looking at the growth predictions probably for the week, probably looking in around 50 on some farms. So as we're saying, we've got a bit of fair play from the weather, although it is a little bit cool. There is a little bit of an easterly breeze there. We have the day length, we have soil temperatures in general. There's a good bit of fertilizer and slurry gone out over the last couple of weeks, which hopefully we're going to get growth rates that are needed on the farm. So I suppose, James, just a couple of key points for the week. There is variation on farms, and the only way we're going to get over that variation is to get back to a weekly measure, okay? Because then there's on farms that are nice way into the second rotation, but there's also other farms that maybe had to house for 2 weeks there, and there's still a couple of paddocks left in the first round, and they're heavy covers on them and they're not really growing, and maybe they might benefit from being taken out altogether, with high average farm covers of maybe well over 800. So it's important there, get back to the weekly grass walk and assess your situation. We're moving from that spring management, I suppose second point, moving from that spring management to the summer wedge. So really and truly we're looking at average farm cover per livestock unit from now on, and growth versus demand on the farm. So I suppose a key one for me would be the cover per livestock unit, probably targeting that maybe somewhere in around 180, and keeping the average farm cover there between maybe 600 and 700 depending on the stocking rate. But across stocking rates, probably somewhere in around 180 per cow is a good one to hold. And I know you're going to chat about it in a while, but I was in 3 yards this week, James, and there's no great heel of a pit left in a lot of the yards, and a lot of the surplus bales are well and truly used up after last week's poor weather. So it's important, get your areas closed up for first cut silage and apply the nutrients that's needed, for that first cut, and get your grazing fertilizer up to date as well, to get a good first cut of silage in the yard, but also to put those high quality bales there too. And I suppose just, James, on the last point of view, as we said, finally a bit of decent weather. Farmers have been busy the last couple of weeks, but I think it is important that we can target, and we're after having the I suppose our numerous spring grass clover events there throughout the country. If there's reseeding going on, second rotation now, ideal opportunity to pull out that paddock a paddock or two to get them done. And there's a grass 10 clover checklist there. I suppose, are you ready to incorporate the clover on farm this spring? And it's just a few key points in terms of getting your grass seed ordered, getting a good bag of grass seed together there, in terms of maybe from the varieties from the Pasture Profit Index and 2 kilos of white clover, and getting your contract, your lime, your 10-10-20 all there, and your clover safe spray. So it's just, I suppose, getting all in a line for over the next few weeks to get that in, and get it in early, that it gets the best chance over the summer to tiller with constant grazings out there.